The following podcast contains potentially tough subject matter, controversial topics, and/or strong language. Viewer discretion is advised.
What do you call a midget with 3 legs? Horny.
Shut up and sit down.
Oh man. Okay, that was good. That was good.
Hello and welcome to number 4 of the Knights of the Wrong Table podcast.
Quattro.
Number 4!
Comes after 3 and before 5.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Not in the Russian language though. It is 3.
What?
I don't know. I don't speak Russian.
Nice.
Oh, man.
Oh.
We're definitely sitting at the wrong table.
Yeah.
Yep.
I am Sir Percival.
I am Sir Boris.
I am Steve Rogers. Galahad.
And I still don't remember who I am.
Merlin.
You're the hairy wizard.
Merlin.
That's right, Merlin. Okay.
I still don't remember who I am. There's the shirt. There's the first shirt. I still don't remember who I am. Oh God.
The sad realization when we go, oh wait, we don't even have a table.
Yeah.
Do you guys believe in ghosts? Because, okay, I'm thinking about this because you said last week something about, you were like, oh, ghosts! And then I was like, wait, we'll talk about that later, and then we never did.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, definitely.
do you guys believe in ghosts? Do you believe in...
Aspirations?
What?
Spiritual
Aspirations?
beings that
Aspirations?
stay on Earth.
Aspirations?
You mean apparitions?
Whatever.
No, do you believe in, like, spirits and the undead and that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Well, oh, God. So we're going to get kind of into the spiritual aspect of this thing, aren't we?
No, I mean, we don't have to get religious, but, like, do you...
Well, okay,
Unintended.
so coming from a religious perspective, I don't believe in the dead living again.
Okay.
I believe in the possibility of...
But they do walk.
Well, like
Walking dead.
Because of like Satan's workers. And,
yeah,
and,
like fallen angels from
Okay.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, like not
All hail Beelzebub.
no. So no, but like that. It sounds weird because it's not like something I'm very skeptical about it. I'm absolutely very skeptical about anything like those Ghost Hunter TV shows.
I love those.
Are total bull. They're total BS.
What?
What?
Are there brownies in that box?
No, why they're in the trash.
Okay.
Are there brownies in that box?
They're total BS. They're absolutely BS.
I know,
And
it's just an empty box of brownies.
I don't think so.
well, okay. So there might be some TV shows, and I can give it to the credit of. There might be a couple TV shows where they actually go out and do it and go to these real places and they actually hear things. But most of the ones that are on TV are very poor representations of it.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not going to happen all the time.
And-
If
yeah.
it does happen,
And they're-
it's not going to happen like that where they can make it a TV show.
There's a show that I watch that is called Ghost Adventures. It's very...
And that's the one that I've seen the most bullcrap on.
That's the one that I love. I love it.
Like,
because they don't just go to like, oh, this house they think is haunted. Let's go to this person's house and see if they have stuff. No, they go to like insane asylums and abandoned schools and like shit that had real shit happen in it, like tuberculosis centers and that kind of thing. They go to these places that have death and destruction happening. And a lot of times sometimes they find like a few things here and there. They hear a few knocks and bangs, footsteps, but sometimes they get some real scary shit.
And see, when it comes down to it, I don't think that it's dead people. I believe that a place can be so evil that a place could be so evil for so long that just demons and stuff like that just reside in that area, and it just makes it easier for you to go into that location, especially if you're searching for it, and find evil in that place.
And especially in this show, because they provoke a lot. They do yelling, they call names, all this kind of stuff. They're like, you weren't worth anything, were you? And like that's why you're terrorizing people now. And come and fight me. Come and do something to us to let us know that you're here. And they really stir shit up. And they want results, and they get it a lot of the time.
So like now you should insert the ASPCA song, and we go, stop the bullying of ghosts. Send your pledge of $19.99 a month, and we'll send you the picture of a ghost.
Stop the
that
bullying of
you've helped.
ghosts.
For 15 cents a day, you can feed an African. They eat pennies.
Oh, that's so bad.
$5 a meal.
Don't do that. Well, we just got demonetized.
That's a Bo Burnham joke. That's not my joke. It's a Bo Burnham joke.
Okay.
He made it, so we can make it.
Okay, of course.
Quoted, cited, sourced.
I don't know the year or the day or the month.
Who does?
Or the
We just
second.
know the person.
Yeah.
Screw him.
No, Bo Burnham's
I
great.
mean,
No, Bo Burnham's hilarious.
But I feel like people over dramatically explain what's going on as far as what they actually see.
Yeah, a lot of times in this show, I don't want to say a lot of times, but in some episodes, their representations of what happened to them are very theatricized, and they give a broad or a very vivid explanation of something minor that happened. Like a lot of times when they have these cameras set up and they see a ball of light or a dust particle or something, this ball of light that manifests and moves somewhere, a lot of times they'll say you can't tell it's a bug or dust because a bug you would see wings, and dust it's lighter, you won't really see it. And I'm like, maybe, but some of the lights, like the little manifestations they see, are really clear, and like you're like, that's not a bug. But some of them you're like, that could be a bug, it could be dust, you don't know.
Yeah.
So I mean, I love that show so much. I mean, the guys that investigate overreact a lot, and they kind of freak out at minor things. Like they'll hear a footstep and go, and I'm like, it was a creak in the floor. But sometimes they hear like legit screams. Like
I think
the camera crew can hear it, and they're like, what the fuck was that?
I think like it's because like they're around it so much.
Yeah.
Like, and so they just like think that everything
they're,
they hear is
they're
kind
almost searching for it at that point.
yeah. So they're
And
like
that's what they're there to
waiting for
do.
that sound.
That's
or
what they're there to
whatever,
do.
That's
so-
what they get paid for.
And I bet you,
exactly.
I bet you most like if they were real and like all that stuff. I bet most people go into places like that not searching for it, so they hear creaks and stuff like that, and don't think anything of it.
Pause. Okay, I'm good.
Do not edit that.
I'm not.
Please keep that. No.
Look at the sound wave of where that was.
Oh man, dude, the sound wave does not give credit to the stench.
You're welcome.
No. So I have a challenge for those
Okay.
that do make these ghost TV
Because
shows.
they're watching this.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. We are the
America's
number one
number
most
one
listened
audience.
to.
They
We
streamline
need to treat it as if we have a huge audience, because
And also, you
No,
know,
I know,
because-
but I just like to make the
Our
irony.
audience is 100% watching us too.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
being the audio and all.
We're filmed in front of a live studio audience.
You didn't have a soundboard.
No, it's not
Why?
SpongeBob.
I'm about to say, why are we talking to SpongeBob? When did
Just have a bunch of children laughing and clapping. Yay!
Yes, because this is a child-friendly podcast.
I thought
Absolutely.
so. Yes.
Yes, 100%.
That's
sit the fuck down? Stop leaning back on my goddamn
No.
chairs.
So back to my challenge for the guys that make these TV shows, and also to Hallmark. This is another
Hallmark? What?
one. Okay, so I'm about to bring it in.
Okay.
These TV shows that rely on the music and the sound effects to make the drama real.
Yeah.
So Hallmark's really bad about that because they like
But they give it to you.
the people.
I swear to God, if you don't stop that goddamn joke.
X-Force.
Hey, get your own joke.
I know. I stole it. So no, but like, have you ever noticed how much music they actually put into?
Music
it's
makes
ridiculous.
everything better.
Well, you're right. It makes everything better, and so I have a challenge for them. If it's real and the it's should all be self-made tension
Yeah.
and not music-made tension.
Yeah. A lot of the times with I'm using Ghost Adventures as like a pinpoint for my discussion, and a lot of times in that show they only have like the creepy pictures and the creepy music during the interludes into a commercial or out of a commercial break. They don't really play the music through the investigation for the most part.
Okay.
So them, a lot of the times it's just you get the evidence and that's that.
Now, granted, I had, like, with my ex-girlfriend, she used to watch it all the time. Like, all the time. And her and her stepdad and her mom would just sit there. That's all they would ever watch.
Yeah.
And it was annoying, number one. Number two, so, I mean, at least I know, like, what TV show you're talking about. And so...
Focus.
I'm trying to. He was very
Why are
distracting.
you just keep talking? Why are you getting
Okay,
all quiet?
you're making me more distracted.
Dude, I don't know why you're making such a big deal.
Gee,
Just finish your sentence.
just keep talking. It's okay. It's all good. Don't get stressed out.
The look in your eye when you say that to him is so like conniving.
I know, condescending.
He's like, suffer.
No, so the point I'm trying to make is that I know what the TV show like partakes,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I've seen a lot of YouTube documentaries, and so that's why I have a bad taste of it in my mouth. It's like a lot of people.
Oh my god, that was like
The
movie
sequel.
quality.
The sequel.
We need to have a burpo meter. Like,
That was like,
We should definitely do that.
that was quality. I'm sorry.
It judges like the spikes on the.
Yeah.
Oh, it's huge. That's what
Oh.
you said.
You laughed. I don't have to do anything bad. I feel like you should have a rule. Anytime you're in a group of friends, that if somebody makes a "that's what she said" joke and nobody laughs for 10 seconds, they have to do something bad. Like you can make a drinking game out of it. Anytime somebody says "that's what she said" and it's not funny, you have to chug a beer or something. Not now, but
well, yeah, no, not now.
Instantly, just procures beer out of pocket.
Well, I'll be.
I had it in my prison wallet.
Ew.
Delaney.
Delaney!
I still don't know who I am.
You're shunned from our family.
Donkey.
You saved our lives. We're eternally grateful.
No, but okay. So from Ghost, let's talk about Bigfoot. We'll make the quick jump over there because it's kind of similar.
No, okay. Yeah, we can talk about that.
Yeah.
But we didn't really talk about the ghost. We just talked
I thought we did.
We talked about the shows.
Okay,
we
well,
didn't talk about like what we.
Then what's your opinion?
We didn't talk about like what we think about it or what we've experienced if we do think that it's real. Because I know Jeremiah had a thing about it the other day and we never talked about it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, at some points, I feel like that we kind of make it up, but kind of thing. You kind of visually, your mind kind of plays tricks on you, and then you kind of see something you don't see.
Yeah.
or
kinda
hear
thing.
something, yeah.
Yeah, and then it kind of causes you to create an image that really isn't there. But then also, I think there is times where you do actually see something, but
Yeah.
it's hard to actually know for sure.
I know.
Because we're not dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I've seen shadows and I've seen things that I can't explain. I
Yeah.
felt like people are watching me.
Well, that's the CIA.
Big brother.
Big brother.
Big brother.
Big brown brother.
Come on.
But yeah, I mean, I've experienced things, and I've heard stories that my family's experienced. I remember one. This is a story that I actually remember that happened to me. My grandma used to live really close to where we did, and I would go over there like after school, after elementary school, like on the weekends. I'd go over there, and she had like her hallway. There was like a bathroom in the hallway. It was a pretty narrow hallway, and then it was her room, and then the rest of the house, which is like the one room isolated by a hallway and the bathroom. And there was a mirror in the hallway right in front of the bathroom. And her kitchen was basically on the opposite side of the house, and the kitchen had the entrance to the basement in it. Fuck that basement, first off. I hated it. It was horrifyingly creepy. Because it was one of those like all concrete, no air conditioned, barely any lighting basements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
It was
those.
one of those. It's not like your basement. Or it's just nice.
Yeah, where it's finished.
Yeah.
Where it has
There-
an actual
Well,
floor.
it wasn't
Yeah,
always.
well,
finished.
there.
No, it wasn't always
Theirs
finished.
was
but
a
it was always
complete.
lived in.
There was
Yeah.
theirs was a completely underground basement.
Yeah.
With just like the few windows that were
Yeah.
like just at ground level, so it was really creepy. But I remember one night because I would always sleep in my grandma's room with her. I remember one night her door was open, and I could see in the hallway, and I knew for a fact there was nobody else in this house but her and I, because I was the only one staying with her that weekend, and there was somebody in that house.
Yeah.
Because I would see there was a figure walking. I could see it in the mirror.
Yeah.
Could not see who it was. Could not see what it was, but I could see something moving in the mirror.
Yeah.
And me being the naive little kid, I wasn't like, "Oh, that could possibly kill me,"
Yeah.
or we could be being robbed.
Yeah.
So I was like, "I'm gonna go investigate." Trotting along,
Yeah.
and walked into the kitchen, and there were footprints in the kitchen.
Yeah.
There's nobody else in the house. I walked around. There's nobody else. And it was just, like, thinking back on it now, it's fucking creepy.
Yeah.
But now, like, then I was like, I don't know, okay.
And see, I hear a lot of stories like that.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things, since it's never really
Yeah.
truly happened to me,
And that's,
I have a hard time believing it.
yeah.
But
That's what a lot of people is, like, they don't really, not necessarily believe in it, but kind of accept it more until something's happened to them. Excuse me.
and that's why I do keep like a foot in the door for that. Like I say that ghosts aren't real, but demons are. Like
Yeah.
I'd say that
Okay.
like that you can't your soul, once it's gone, it's gone. Like
Yeah.
and it's just how I
Um,
think.
I want to tell a few stories about my family's stories and
Yeah.
experiences. My dad, in the house that they used to live in when he was elementary school, something like that, him and his sister, no. Anyway, okay. The story is my mom and my dad's sister were in the living room of this house. They had an upstairs. It was a two-story. Well, they were sitting in the living room playing. They're just sitting there. I don't remember exactly what they were doing, but and this couple, like in Victorian clothes, and according to them, this is what happened. This couple in Victorian clothes who are, translucent, walk down the stairs arm in arm, and walk through the door, and they're gone. This is an account from multiple people that I've heard.
Yeah.
So, might
There's
not
the
be
Queen
true.
of England.
Yeah. But and then that's happened, but then we had this, I think it was like a great uncle or something, just some distant
Yeah.
relation to me somehow, but we called him Granddaddy. That was his nickname for everybody. But he had this house out
Come
in
to
the,
Grandpapa.
yeah, he had this house out in the woods somewhere, like
Yeah.
isolated. And they had this rocking chair that if it didn't like you, it would lean forward and push you out of it. And if the spirit in it
Yeah.
that was haunting this chair liked you, it wouldn't let you get up, or it would make it really hard for you to get up. It would make it feel like you were being pulled backwards.
Lazy boy.
Spiritual date rape.
Oh, no, that's funny.
That's great. Spiritual date rape. But
Lazy
yeah,
boy, they're so comfortable.
and then there was something in the walls.
Sponsor,
Granted, it could have been a coincidence,
sponsor us.
but there was something in the walls, could be a rodent or whatever, we don't know. But apparently, according to them, there was this thing in the walls that exactly 3 days before somebody in the family would die, it would go fucking nuts.
Oh, that's weird.
And it would just, like, you would hear banging in the walls, and you would hear, like, skittering everywhere, and
Yeah.
it was fucking freaky. I heard it once. Never again did I hear it again.
Yeah.
I only heard it once. And 3 days later, somebody died. Somebody somehow related to us died. It was weird. And
That's
then,
creepy.
yeah.
Ugh.
After,
Not a fan.
After, and he
Unsubscribe.
he used to always sit in that chair, because it was his favorite chair, and I guess the thing in it liked him too. So he would just sit in the chair, or anytime we went over to the house, and he was just rocking in it. After he passed away, we got rid of the chair.
Yeah, we burn it.
We burnt that motherfucker.
Yeah.
They burnt the chair. Granted, they don't have anybody that lives near them a mile around them. They burnt the chair and heard a girl scream in the woods. When they lit that thing on fire, something screamed. Granted, could be coyote, fox, cougar, whatever. But they
Bigfoot.
they burnt the chair.
Bigfoot.
Something screamed. And I hear those stories from my family, and it still gives me chills every time.
Yep, not a fan of those stories.
Me neither.
Yeah.
So, is
So
that good?
Bigfoot.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was like the perfect transition right there.
Did you tell your story?
He touched on his feelings about.
Yeah, but you had a story last week. I don't know if you remember it.
Yeah, I had a story. Yeah, when I was
Want to get on to Bigfoot?
The dude
Go
with
on.
the large.
I mean, anyways,
Go ahead.
I had a story about basically when I was younger, I would like sit up at night and kind of watch the doorway in
Yeah.
my mom's bathroom. I don't know what it was, but it always seemed to come from that direction. This woman in a white dress would just kind of walk by my door at night, never look at me and never see her face, but like I would see that and I was like thought something happened back there. So that was my story. It was kind of weird.
That was really short to the point and still super
Yeah.
freaky.
Well, I mentioned it last time. I didn't know.
Take notes, Nathaniel.
Fuck you! I like storytelling. I like storytelling. I want to work at Audible.
Now let's go to Bigfoot.
Audible. Audible.
All
We're
right,
not sponsored, so I don't give a shit.
I thought we were just doing a football play. Sports.
Sports. I'm not gay.
But if I were,
Equal
rights. I'm not gay.
No. So Austin, what do you believe?
oh, I
What do you-
don't believe in Bigfoot. I just find the whole thing fascinating.
What the whole?
Okay, I
The,
try
the
to
fas-
find.
You find the fascination with Bigfoot fascinating?
Well, no, my dad's fascinated with Bigfoot,
So is mine then.
but like I don't think it's real. But I tried finding like statistics. The only thing I could find was in 2017, Illinois had 10 reported Bigfoot sightings, and Washington had 12.
Yeah.
So make of that what you want. That's about the best statistic I can give.
Like
for-
the only states?
No, those are just the only ones I
They
could
did-
find. I
okay.
try to find like an annual U.S.
So
number.
Illinois is like mid.
It's northern.
Yeah,
it's
about-
Chicago.
Yeah,
It's-
right. And then Washington. See, now if there is a Bigfoot, which disclaimer, there is not.
Dun dun dun.
I don't want to say that there's not
I find it.
anything.
I mean, I could understand
Because-
an actual person living in the woods. and
because-
it's like
yeah,
everyone
because
just calls him Bigfoot.
we don't
and that's
know
just how it
what we
came to
don't
be.
know. We don't know what is out there.
but
We
I
have
find
no
it-
way
he
of
just
knowing.
forgot
I find
to
it hard
shave,
to
and
believe
that's
that
just what
there's
happened.
a species so intelligent that it can outthink people.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that to an
And
extent.
But at the same time, I can believe that there are land masses that we have still not
Yeah,
yet
I mean,
seen.
we're discovering
Like-
islands every year.
well, that's because volcanoes make them.
No, but like one of the things,
Or like
a guy
attractions.
actually used Google Maps to like.
Yeah, he discovered a new.
He
area
discovered
in
an
Africa or
entirely
something.
new area, and he was able to name plants and animals after himself
Yeah.
because nobody had been there.
Well, there was a college student that found this. They were looking for this lost city, in
Atlantis.
somewhere in, I want to say it was South America.
Yeah.
I don't have this
Oh,
the
what's the name?
facts on it, but there is some city. Talk about Machu Picchu.
Maybe.
I choose you, Machu
Sounds
Picchu.
like a Pokemon. But no, he knew that they were trying to find this lost city, and
Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull. That's what the whole bit was
Worst
about.
Movie.
Yes, it was the worst Indiana Jones movie, but they were trying to find the lost city in Peru or something.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
it was probably Machu
Yeah.
Picchu.
Eh,
Oh, they know where Machu Picchu is.
I don't remember what the name.
Shut up.
Shut up.
Machu Picchu.
There's anyway. He used Google Maps, and we're like, this doesn't belong there. This doesn't belong there. Search this area, and like went to his government in like his city, and they were like, yeah, let's look at that.
Yeah.
And they ended up finding this lost city that nobody had seen forever. Like
Yeah.
we had never documented it, and they found it, and he was able to like name the city.
And see that's
What would you name a city if you discovered it? Sidebar.
Bumblehoot and Titty Knuckles.
Okay.
I'd probably name it Town.
Wow. Wow. Creative points out the wazoo.
Rocky.
Rocky.
See?
Even if it wasn't Rocky.
Yeah,
if it was
yeah.
sand?
Even if
Okay.
it was sand.
It's a completely flat plateau.
I'd give it
Rocky.
like the most abnormal name that no one could pronounce, and then whenever someone tried to pronounce it, I'd correct them. Even if they said it right.
You could
It's like the Anulax batteries from
like
Guardians.
you could live there, like house a bunch of people, like they all become citizens, and then like they can't pronounce where you come from, and be like microaggressions. No. So I think that the possibility of seeing a big burly beast of a creature nowadays is highly unlikely, especially one that's like hiding from us. Now, like abominable snowmen, like things in the Antarctic or Arctic Circle.
Those are in the Himalayas, buddy.
Who gives a crap?
The
Why don't you
Yeti.
just the Yeti? So and
Oh
like
man, the movie Abominable or Abominable? Crap, I can't say that.
abdominal.
Abominable?
No, not abdominal. It's abominable.
Abominable snowman.
No, it's just called Abominable. It's rated R. It's an old horror movie.
Oh.
It's so bad.
Okay, but
Anyway.
anyways,
I'm sorry. It was just,
They
No.
didn't have CG
it was
back then.
hilarious.
It's all good.
but
it was hilarious.
but water creatures.
Yo! Woo! Woo! Okay,
Wait,
I
hold on,
love the
hold
ocean.
on, hold on.
No,
Hold on.
Sorry.
Before you get there, I just want to make fun of the Finding Bigfoot. Yeah, that was a bad spike.
I'm sorry, I was excited.
I want to make fun of the people on Finding Bigfoot who go stand out in the woods for a week.
Okay,
And then they just sit there and listen, and they hear something in the woods. That was a Bigfoot. Guys, I just heard it.
Yeah, and like
No.
they're talking about
It is trying to sexually seduce me.
they're talking about
I'm
Bigfoot
going in.
as if like we have documentation on how they
Or what
they
about
are.
Yeah.
What about that one TV show that was like
Two
where they would-
whistles. Two
where they
whistles
would go
means
to
he's horny.
towns? What about that one TV show where they would go to actual like towns and cities, and they weren't looking for Bigfoot specifically, but they would look for like
Destination Truth.
no, it wasn't that one either.
Finding Bigfoot? They did that. They would.
No, but
have
they
town
would
hall
go. No, they would
meetings.
go to different. And they weren't looking for Bigfoot. They were just looking for monsters that live in this
Oh,
town.
mountain monsters?
Yes.
Oh,
that one
yeah, I've
is
seen that.
so
That's so
fakely
bad.
interesting.
That's so bad.
It's so fake, but it's so interesting.
I can lay down the plot of every episode. They go somewhere where there's a monster, air quotes, and they ask people. People tell them. They go out in the woods on their first time. They see it or they hear it. It scares them. It almost kills them.
Every
Someone
time.
almost dies every time.
Jimmy, watch out!
Then they build a trap. Then they go on a second hunt. They go to the trap. The trap triggers. They all shoot, yelling, screaming, cursing, everything. Unload every gun that they have. And then
Oh, yeah.
somehow the monster gets away.
Somehow.
Yes.
Or-
They're all stormtroopers.
No blood. Yes, they're the great descendants
Yeah.
of the stormtroopers.
no, so that one.
Descendants, ancestors.
No, because it was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. The stormtroopers migrated to the
The ancestors.
Milky Way.
These were, like the stormtroopers were the ancestors to these
They were a
redneck retards.
No, it was a, in a galaxy far, far away.
Not all
A long time
rednecks are
ago.
retards, but
Galaxy
these
far, far
rednecks
away.
are
Okay,
retards.
okay.
Okay.
It's not the future. As
I'm
bad-
thinking it's the future
as
because
bad-
I'm like lightsabers. Zoom, zoom. That's
No,
like
but-
the future.
Bad Lip Reading even has a song called "Not the Future."
Okay.
It's about how Star Wars doesn't take place in the future.
Haven't seen it, but okay.
It's fantastic. Starts off with Chewie
I
and
mean,
an
like,
emotional
even though-
solo.
It looks like
I'm
it's
gonna
the
take
future.
your word for it.
It's really a long, long time ago.
In a galaxy far, far away, alien
Yay.
DNA, walking around every day, but no one notices.
Okay, so
Anyway.
but
Love those guys.
back sea creatures. All right, so
The Loch Ness
Okay.
monster.
oh,
So
Nessie is so real. They just haven't found it yet.
y'all keep talking. I'm gonna look up like the statistic on how much of the ocean we've
Hardly any.
It's like 3%.
Yeah,
'cause
Dude,
like,
they found a fish that they thought went extinct like millions of years ago.
Well, it's
Like,
because every year we're able to go deeper and deeper because for the most part it's just the pressure is too much for submarines and,
And then
like
also
cameras.
on top
to
of that,
go.
it's the fact that it's so
I
far
mean-
down that that light
And it's
just
so
doesn't.
dark.
Yeah.
well, the
like, what-
organisms can't.
Yeah, I was gonna say
actually-
most things probably wouldn't go up to a alien creature now coming down, giving off light in this world where there is no light.
Yeah.
Like, who's gonna be? Hey, let's go say hi to the new neighbor, Tim.
5% of the ocean has been discovered.
Exactly.
Has been documented.
So that's why like
I can live with those odds.
Like the giant squid. That was one like creature that
They
was.
thought it was a myth, and they found him.
They eat
narwhals.
whales.
Narwhals was another one that they thought was an absolute myth.
Bye, buddy. I hope you
Find your dad.
Thanks,
No.
Mr. Narwhal.
So yeah, no, that was another one, and
That's
they
the first documentation.
used to hunt them.
Narwhal.
Yeah.
They used to hunt them, and they thought they went extinct, and so that was they were left alone for so long. Now their population's abundant.
Yeah.
What if
Yeah.
dodos moved to the ocean?
Become seabirds?
Yeah.
Well, like the organisms
And they
like
can't
fish
swim.
that are so far down, they actually can't come up because the pressure is keeping their bodies
No, I
together.
saw one thing. It was like a documentary on it, and there was like literally this. It was a pool in this like reef that was like way far down, and it was like all of a sudden like it looked like an actual pool. And it was just black inside, and like they tried to take their submarine down in it, and it literally just like bounced off.
Oh yeah, because the pressure was
Yeah.
so great. The difference in the two areas.
Yeah.
Well,
it
and
was
then like you were I think you're the one that was like had mentioned
probably
that
I'm a genius.
wow
I'm
that
so humble too. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Most
there-
humble list.
that there's there's a part where like there's actual lakes in the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they're like it's just that spot of water is more dense or more compressed or something, and it just stays in that location.
Have y'all ever heard of something? It's a sound clip they call the bloop. It sounds weird, but okay.
Right.
This sound was heard 30,000 miles in like a radius, or a radius of like 30,000 miles.
Does it go?
Yeah, it's this giant bloop under the water.
Oh, dang,
but
that's
but it was heard for 30,000 miles. It measured on the Richter scale.
The megalodon burped.
I'm gonna look it up, and we're gonna.
Oh,
listen
has
to
everybody
it.
seen the trailer for
It's the
Meg?
crack-
Oh,
Yes,
That is
Galen wants to see it so bad.
it's supposed to be like
Is it
the next Jaws. Like it's supposed to replace the Jaws franchise. Like they're supposed to make a couple of them, and it's gonna be like Meg 1, Meg 2.
Meg the Third remegged?
Okay, so this is the bloop. Mysterious ocean sound louder than any creature. It measured on the Richter scale, and it was heard for 30,000 miles. This is the sound. Sometime soon.
Silence was heard.
The quiet before the
What
storm.
an interesting bloop.
Yeah, I know. They're just. It's,
This intro is,
Is this
like ridiculous.
Could we like hard?
listen.
Bloop.
Yeah.
It sounds like a record or like a VHS tape, like skipping or something. Like
And it has little
These little blip-
animations.
Yeah. That noise was measured. It was recorded like 30,000 miles apart. In different places, they heard it.
oh, so it was like 15,000 mile radius kind of deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
yeah, it was heard for
That makes a little more sense.
forever.
Like, couldn't they find it though? By
No.
doing that, by having two different ones.
They
We
tried
need
to
a third to
They,
triangulate.
listen, they
Okay.
tried to triangulate and they tried to figure out where it came from, but it wasn't that like they could hear it come from this way. It was just heard. It wasn't like it came from a direction.
Omnipresent.
Yeah,
Because I mean, water is just it travels a lot.
It's like there is
Yeah,
no
water,
center. There is
it
no center.
carries
to the
air
Earth.
more than or it carries sound more
It's
than
crazy
air would.
that-
Yeah, water carries air more than sound would.
It's crazy
Yeah,
that
well,
we
yeah.
don't want to
Yeah.
know more about our
Yeah, you
own
totally-
planet.
If you
that
think
we're
about that, it
living
actually makes sense.
Carries more
Okay.
air than it does.
It does carry more air than sound.
Because fish still need oxygen, but they just get it from the water.
I like the fact that we're trying to like figure out what's around us instead of like what's actually
Fish.
here.
Yeah,
Like-
that's
Yeah.
like we're focusing so much on. Well, the thing is, we have the technology to explore space. We don't have the technology to explore the ocean.
What if
Are
we
you
just
sure?
push
Or
the
we
ocean?
don't? No. Are you sure we don't have? Because see, space is so much more beneficial to governments than the
But
water
there's-
is.
No government can.
I
claim
mean, if we
anything in
can
space.
tame one
No,
of
you're
these
absolutely-
like
you're
huge
ab-
animals, then we can just use it for the government.
I mean,
Attack China. I'm just-
What if America owns the oceans?
No.
Bam.
no, I mean, well,
Maritime laws.
America's navy is the best gosh darn navy that ever navied, and so we do own the oceans.
Besides King Poseidon's.
Wow.
I mean, they do gotta beat. I mean,
What?
What?
he's gotta beat.
He's got a beat. You got a beat. You
I got
know
a
that?
beat.
You got a
I'm not a
beat.
beat farmer.
Got that
I'm
beat.
willing to turn up. You know.
Turn up. All right.
Yeah. So the ocean scares me, but
I'm
it's
kinda
also
excited.
very fascinating.
No, I mean but as I was saying, I feel like there's just more benefit in exploring
Yeah.
exploring space than there is in exploring the water. So that's why there's more. I believe in fundage. I think we have the technology to do a lot of things in the ocean. There's just not enough fundage for it.
Like I don't think we have. Oh, every year we're
Space
becoming
is so
more
much prettier.
and more.
There are more people that are freaked out by being invaded by something from the sky than there are people freaked out
Water
by
people.
by water people, Atlanteans. They like
Yeah.
You
No,
know.
but like, even watching documentaries made in 2017 as opposed to documentaries made in 2010 or 2015, you know, the difference is striking in what they see and what they show you. And we watched, Galen and I watched one of the Planet Earth episodes that was talking about the deep ocean, and it was like the deepest we could go ocean,
Yeah.
where the only life exists around these thermal volcanic vents because they get the minerals and shit from it.
yeah.
And that's the only place life exists. And it's like these tube worms and crabs and certain like kind of like there's oceanic wood lice. That makes a lot of sense, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, they're like a cousin of the woodlouse, that are like
You say
a
that
foot
like
and a
in-
half long.
I was gonna say, you say that like I know what a woodlouse is.
Do you know what wood lice are?
Oh, lice? Oh, I thought you said louse.
A louse is the singular of a lice.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know this.
No, I
Woodlouse?
didn't.
Yeah.
No, I
That's
didn't
the
know.
singular of lice.
Oh,
Well,
cool.
Yeah.
Learned
Lice is
something
multiple.
today.
Yeah, exactly. No, but the
Getting that college degree,
That's
one
right.
lesson at a time.
yeah, education connection. Get connected for
Who
free.
says getting a college degree is useless?
I didn't learn that in college. Most of what I learned is from TV.
YouTube.
So a degree is useless.
No, but yeah, there's like these oceanic
Stay in school.
lice that are like a foot and a half long. They're huge.
Can you imagine having those in your hair?
Yeah, they would kill you.
Just to eat your brain.
The average human swallows
That's just a
8
snack.
spiders
Don't
in their
stop.
every year.
Okay, please stop.
The spiders
Just,
just drink from your eyes at night. It's fine.
They go up in your nose.
You
and
just
your
wake up here and go,
mouth
Dude, I'm just saying, if I wake up and I have that, I better be getting some freaking Spider-Man style powers, or I'm gonna be
It's
freaked
just your
out.
eyes. Only your eyes can shoot webs.
Oh god, that'd be such painful.
But you
You'd be
can't
so
see
That would be
So-
such painful.
You can't
That would
see
be such
afterwards.
painful
You
coming
just
from my
see-
eye.
Oh, this is weird. Random. Did you know that your pupil is actually hollow?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could
Yeah.
stick.
Oh,
You
yeah.
could stick something into it and nothing. Well, I mean, you would go through your lens, but you know what I mean. Yeah.
So you go like from the side, you look sideways and just poke it in there.
Yeah, Jeremiah, try that.
You'll be fine.
Did you? Okay.
Let us
Oh,
know.
okay.
You ever wondered? Like, I don't. Do you ever realize, like, if you ever get like drunk or tipsy, how when you go into the dark or when you're like you go into a dark room or it's nighttime, you see better.
No.
Have you never noticed that? I noticed that the other day.
Usually when I get too drunk, I end up blacking out anyways.
I was like, I was a little tipsy, and I walked into this room,
Night vision.
and the lights were off, but I was like, holy shit, I can see
He
everything.
goes, go,
And
gadget.
I realized
night
it was
vision.
because like when you have stuff to drink, alcohol, your eyes dilate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you let in more light.
So if I drink, I can pick on Batman. See at
Batman
night.
doesn't see in the dark.
Yeah, he does.
No,
He's
he
got that
doesn't.
night vision.
He doesn't.
He's got that night
Ben
vision.
Affleck's does.
Yeah.
Christian Bale's didn't.
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. I'm Batman. Let her go. Really poor choice
Very
of
poor
words.
choice of words.
Where is she?
You like to know.
No, not really. I don't care. I'm indifferent.
Oh God.
Delaney.
No, I was just gonna let that silence sit for a moment. Just gonna let it
Delaney.
stew.
Oh God. So
What's our time marker?
this we are at 37 minutes.
37.
Wow.
Can I
No.
What?
can like the topic that I was thinking of?
No. What
Like talk about like
I don't know.
please everybody, is that okay?
What?
All right.
Sure.
I mean, maybe if you finished a sentence once in a
Yeah,
while.
let me actually
Maybe if
know.
you just shut the hell up, I could probably finish the sentence.
If you finished your sentence faster, I wouldn't have time to talk.
Okay, thank you, Austin. All right, so I was thinking that maybe we could talk about like our origin story.
Okay.
like superheroes. No, so
It was a dark and
He's
stormy
gonna do a
night.
superhero landing. He's gonna do a superhero landing.
It's really bad on the knees.
no, no. So I don't know. I mean, I was thinking that maybe we could talk about like
My origin story. I was born. Dun dun.
no about
Well, you
like
see, when a man and a woman love each other very much,
no.
Smack their foreheads together and they make a baby.
No, that reminds me of like a Bo Burnham joke, like about the two guys that like love each other very much.
It's like, well, it was like how my mom first explained gay marriage to me, or gay relationships, was that she sat me down and was like, okay, son, so sometimes, so people love each other, right? Like your dad and I love each other very much.
Two
But
men can love each other the same way.
two men or two women can love each other the same way. But when they love each other, it's a little different. So what they do is they go in the room, they close the door, turn off the lights, they get under the covers, they get nice and close, and then they shit on the Bible! Look at the stuff! Oh, that joke is one of my favorites.
Oh,
The
no.
first time I heard that, I actually cried. Oh, I laughed so hard I cried.
No, and so
what were we talking? Oh, origin stories.
like not each other's origin story, like more or less how we all
How
got
we became friends and like
how we became
started this.
a podcast, like what all started this.
It was
and
a
then-
dark and stormy night.
Actually, I'm pretty sure it
There
was,
was a
raining when we had the
breeze
idea.
coming in from the
Yeah,
southwest.
it probably was raining when we had the idea.
Call me Ishmael.
Oh, that's another fish that we all found out that was real.
What?
Moby Dick?
The great white whale. Like that's another.
You mean a sperm whale?
Yeah, that's a whale that's real.
Yeah.
It's all I know.
Sperm whales.
Dun, dun, dun,
That was
dun,
heavy
dun,
That's
dun.
symbolism.
Sperm whales aren't white.
Okay, I don't really.
Belugas. Belugas are the white ones, right? Those are the white with the weird
They're
forehead.
still around. I didn't know that.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, like
It was
that's
in Finding Dory.
That doesn't mean it's real.
And donuts
nothing
were
in
an ice
Pixar is
age.
real.
Donuts were an ice age.
The last melon.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Oh.
So
I mean, I gave us the background. I set the drop for the dark and stormy night. Like,
no, so how we all started was the band, right? Like
How us four became friends.
actually no.
The
how
Roundabouts
it really
is the
started
exclusive
how,
band of this podcast.
We all went out to eat, and I basically looked at you as like I was looking for a fourth friend.
Yeah, because
okay.
our friend, our fourth friend, who shall not be named in this situation, was all like, moved to New York and didn't tell any of us.
Yeah.
By the way, fourth friend who shall not be named, we miss you.
Very
I don't know
much.
who that is.
No, because he moved to New York.
He moved
This
to
is
New York.
why you don't.
What
know.
a bastard!
No, but okay. Let's do this chronologically. Me and Nathaniel were friends since like kindergarten.
No, before kindergarten.
Yeah, it was because we
We were
lived.
5.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I was in
That's a
kindergarten.
lot of
when I was
years.
5.
And then me and Jeremiah like first met and like hung out with each other when he was 3 and I was 6.
Yep.
And
That's cute.
That's barely
I know,
legal.
like
Very
we-
legal.
that's incredibly.
For how many more 30-day months will the threesome be considered statutory rape?
All right, so no,
Anyway.
we were actually babysat by the same person.
Yeah.
And then
I
we
find
like.
babysitting completely and utterly inhumane. Who would sit on a child
All right.
defenseless as a baby?
I love the fact that you're talking more, but please shut up. So,
That's because I'm not like ickly and sick this week.
and so, and then we like,
I moved to the same neighborhood.
and yeah,
As you did.
we
Cool,
we
no,
had stopped
no,
being
no.
babysat by the same person. Then he moved into the same neighborhood, and then we didn't talk to each other for like a really long time. And then when I got
your
into-
mom took me to school for a while.
Yeah,
there,
but, like-
and then we kind of went distant. after
yeah,
that.
then we went distant after that, and then
I didn't want to say that out
Continue.
What was that?
are you sure?
Are you sure you don't want to say that one again?
No, I'm good.
Are we all having a conversation? Do 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 do. Mana mana.
That's how you change any subject.
No, and so then we so then we finally started hanging out when I entered into high school.
Yeah, I just got to high school.
Yeah.
It was 8th grade for me. I think
Yeah,
we started
and-
kind of hanging out
Which
a little
was
bit.
9th grade for you and I.
Yeah.
And 11th grade for you, right? You were 2 years ahead of us in school.
Yeah, 2 years, and then I was 3
Yeah.
years ahead of him.
Yep.
And yeah, that's basically how like, and then after that we were inseparable. like we did absolutely everything with each other.
You clean each other's foreskin.
Nightly.
Both daily and nightly.
That's why we're called knights.
I hate you.
No, and so then finally,
Walk home.
okay. And so then finally we all decided to start a band.
Well, they had a quote unquote band before, and then
Because I'm a musical genius.
Austin
Okay.
had
Bow down to Austin.
Austin and Caleb took me out to eat one time, and
Because you always gotta take him to dinner first, you know.
It was at Sakura, right? I think
Maybe?
it was, no. It was
I don't know.
Buffalo Wild Wings. I don't fucking.
Yeah,
know.
no, it was B-dubs.
Ah, yeah, in Harrisonburg. We went
Yeah,
to
it
go
was
see
No,
the
we went to
movie.
go see the movie.
Yeah,
we went to
which
go see
movie?
The Kingsman.
Yeah, 2. Kingsman 2.
Kingsman 2. We went to go
Yes.
see Kingsman 2.
And
Golden
then-
Circle.
I wasn't
Oh.
around here at that time.
No,
No,
you weren't.
I was
were-
gone.
Yeah.
I was gone.
So
Yeah.
the three of us
he was
went to
in
go
the
see
Marines.
Kingsman. I was like, hey, you guys want to come up? I was like, hey, Austin, do you want to see if Caleb wants to go with us to see Kingsman in the theater where I live, and which is like
Take
45
me
minutes.
home.
That was such a good movie. But that night we went to B-Dubs afterwards, and that's really the first time you and I hung out.
Yeah.
And
And that's
I
when
remember
you-
I remember you trying to climb the wall, but in between B-Dubs and
movie
the
theater,
big
yeah.
stone brick wall between B-Dubs and the movie theater.
Yeah.
And we sat at B-Dubs for a while and talked, and
A long while.
yeah, and y'all were like, or you said something about how you guys needed a fourth for a band, and
I had a hole in my heart. I needed a fourth friend, man.
He needed an orifice filled.
No.
and I can supply.
No, and so I mean, and then to my surprise, and don't take this as an offense, you've turned out great.
Wow.
Can you please explain the train of thought with
You
that?
set the bar so low you couldn't fail.
The meaning behind that?
No. I from high school and all that stuff, and this is just being real honest with you.
Yeah.
From high school, I thought you were a pretentious prick, and I bet you anything.
Most people do.
And I bet you anything, you probably thought the same thing to me.
Yeah, I wasn't
Like-
sure. I remember seeing you a couple of times, and I was talking to Austin.
Most of the time, if you saw me, I was probably either talking to him or I was in
Yeah, you
theater.
were.
I was in drama class.
Yeah.
Which together we are pretentious pricks.
No.
But yeah, we
No, and you've turned out great. No, you're absolutely
there
the
were
exact
there were
opposite.
at least like 6 quality high fives in that first time at B-Dubs.
Bam.
Quality.
Boom! Almost every single one. I think every single one except for one has
Yeah,
been.
there's-
And that was because we half-assed it on purpose.
Yeah.
Every
yeah.
every high five has been
Oh
quality.
yeah, no, and so
It's like,
I mean,
this is like a Sopranos moment right here. I brought you into my family.
That's the Godfather. You
Is
dumb
it?
fuck.
No, Sopranos. He also is chubby cheeked and talks like he has cotton balls in his mouth.
I've never watched any of that show.
Neither did
Or
I,
seen-
but I've seen commercials.
No, but
He's got that New York.
that's the Godfather. What you just did is the Godfather.
Vito Corleone.
What?
Vito Corleone.
Okay.
It's the Godfather.
Al Pacino.
No,
That's Scarface.
Yeah, dude. Know your
There's
movies.
There's too many mobster movies.
I don't know these movies.
Know
How do
your
you know?
movies.
I
Marlon
really
Brando.
don't own
Marlon
them.
Brando
I don't
is,
own
is
these.
the Godfather.
Oh yeah. You're right. You're right.
Okay, I guess
Anyway.
the only one that hasn't
They're
seen
all
The
Tarantino
Godfather.
movies, aren't they?
Yeah, probably.
Maybe, probably.
Yeah, I think they are all Tarantino movies.
Yeah, I
okay?
haven't seen any of these.
Me
I
either.
haven't even
Okay, cool.
seen Pulp Fiction, and that's like a.
Neither.
And that's like such a.
Say what again?
See, I guess you've seen the movie.
Oh,
wow,
yeah.
way to spoil it.
Dude,
Yeah, ruined it. Now I can't see it.
I mean, it's got Samuel L. Jackson.
Well, he's in every Quentin Tarantino movie, and Kong,
That was a good movie.
and
And-
Star Wars.
That was a real good movie.
and basically every other movie that needs a black guy.
Wow.
Wow.
No, I'm being honest. He's in a lot of movies. No, he's in a lot of
Because he
movies.
likes acting. So is
No.
Nicolas Cage.
Oh yeah, but we don't talk about
Like,
it.
oh, we just need a black guy.
I know.
My head's on fire. Yeah.
Dude, have you seen the trailers for that new movie that he made where all the parents try to kill the kids?
No.
Dude, it's so bad.
No.
It's so bad.
Apparently, they're in the process like Tarantino. I don't know. I can't remember what the movie is called, but they said it was going to be up there in the ranks with Pulp Fiction.
Really?
It had like a crazy all-star cast, and they were expecting more because of the style movie it was.
Okay.
It's like, yeah.
Murder on the Orient Express.
No, I wanted to see that. I heard it was bad though. But yeah.
Anyways, and so like my next question is.
You said that you needed a fourth friend, like for a band or something like that.
No,
or like you had 4 people like as a friend group before, and you were like, our fourth is gone. We need a fourth friend.
Yeah,
You're like,
I
high five.
just needed a
Application,
fourth
please.
Please sign here.
We're
Here.
gonna
on
have
the
to,
same page.
Gonna have to do a 7-year background check.
And I'll be back with you in 90 days. No, and so I
We'll
mean,
call you.
Gets up and walks away abruptly.
we'll be in touch.
Can I get your social security number?
My people will contact
Mother's
more.
maiden name, date of birth.
No, and so I mean, yeah, no, that's basically it.
And we started a band for like 2 months.
Well, we had high
Roundabouts.
the roundabouts. We have not released a song, but we know a lot of
here's
covers.
the problem. Here's
We
the problem.
are in the process. I'm in the process, still trying to create a song, guys.
We drove so many women crazy with how great we were. We decided it was
Your
better
mom.
for mankind that we stop being so great.
Seriously,
Yep.
men
felt the same
died
way.
because they wanted
Yeah.
to be us.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then women also died
Anthony
because they
Bourdain.
also wanted to be us.
They wanted to be with us, you know?
Anthony Bourdain.
There were also men that wanted to
Wow.
be with us.
Fresh wounds.
I'm not laughing at his death. I'm laughing at what he said.
Yeah, I know. I was laughing at what I said.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for somebody to be like, oh, she's laughing at his death.
I would not say that.
No.
Suicide's
Even
not
though
a
it's
joke,
true.
Nathaniel.
Suicide's not a joke. So, yeah, we had like a band, and we met like every few weeks and just kind of
Jammed.
jammed for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and
And
then
then nothing ever came of it.
no, and then finally we all sat down at a Sheets.
Yeah, well, it was us 3.
Yeah, it
Jeremiah
was-
wasn't there.
yeah, Jeremiah wasn't- yeah.
Yeah, I
He's being a
wasn't there
Marine.
again.
He's
He
being,
was
a,
being
Marine.
a Marine.
Yeah.
I was
you for your service.
off killing people.
No, you weren't.
False.
You never
No,
killed
he was
us.
learning. He was learning.
I was learning my job.
No, and so we all sat down at a Sheets table, and we sat there for like 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah.
Right?
To the point where they, like, one of the managers, I knew the manager, but like, she came over and was like, "Are you guys gonna leave today?"
It's like, hey, the
like-
sign says open 24/7.
No, and so I mean, and then we all just had this
Yeah.
started right then.
We had a realization that every time we got together, we would sit for hours and just talk about whatever.
Yeah, and because we're so humble, we decided
And that's
other
probably why-
people would want to hear us.
And that's probably one of the biggest reasons why the band didn't kick off, because we would always end up having like deep, meaningful thoughts or deep, meaningful conversations, trying to find answers, trying to find.
Okay, and 42 is not the answer to life. It is the answer to the ultimate question.
I didn't. Okay.
No, I'm just saying for all those Hitchhiker fans out there.
No, and so I mean, and that's, in my opinion, I feel like that's the main reason why we have this podcast.
Yeah.
Is to.
It has nothing to do with the fact that my life sucks and this is the only escape.
Jesus Christ.
Wow, Austin.
I mean, I'm super busy, so I mean,
Oh, you're
whatever.
Oh, you're cool. You have plans. Fuck
Your
you.
plans in your life? Dang.
Yeah. So.
Because like we all.
No, my life's great. I have you guys.
Oh,
we all miss.
Hands in. Hands
Whoa,
in.
whoa, whoa.
touch chips.
Touch hips.
No. No, and so I don't know. I mean, like, in my opinion, meeting up with you guys is really like meaningful, because like we're allowed to sit here and shoot the breeze and talk the shit and just say whatever the hell we want to say and talk
Within
about
reason.
obviously within reason. We're not outwardly racist. We're not outwardly like.
Not too racist, you know.
Not yet.
Well, at least we don't intend to be, or like, and that's kind of the whole point, right?
Oh man.
I mean,
Okay.
Oh.
or like, to,
So many like inside jokes.
no,
Fuck.
no.
I'm good.
And that's why I really like talking to you guys. In my personal opinion, that's absolutely why I like talking to you guys, because it's like every time we leave this conversation, I always learn something,
Yeah.
and
Well, that could be a new bit. Caleb, what'd you learn today?
Well, last week, to
You're dying.
all who it may
I'm good.
concern,
No, thanks.
Okay, yeah.
to whom it may concern, my girlfriend.
Oh, no, I have to introduce this one. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, it is time for the main event. Let's welcome Caleb.
Hi, I messed up last weekend, and I'm going to talk about it. So,
We should have done this earlier because we're almost at an hour.
no. So, I mean,
She has to listen to the whole thing to get this.
It's like an advent calendar.
That's the absolute ploy, because I told her that I was going to apologize for it, and so now she has to listen to the whole damn thing before she can actually views, baby. No. So last week I brought up my girlfriend's family in the podcast, and she was not happy about it. And genuinely, I made a mistake, and I feel like that's something that I need to apologize for. Number one, and then number two, like that's kind of the what I love about this podcast, and what I love about the people that are around me, and especially like my girlfriend being a really good support and all that stuff, is that she listens to this podcast and she gives me her feedback.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, she tells me what she thinks, and I listen. And like you tell me what you think, and I listen, and all of this, and it's I don't know, I love the fact that I was wrong.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I grew from it. I was able to realize that obviously next time I'm not going to trash talk my girlfriend's family. But no, but besides the point, I'm a very open person.
Yeah.
I'm a very I lay out everything on the table, and there are some things that I talk to her about that I obviously can't talk on a podcast.
Yeah.
And that's something that I just learned. And that's something that I finally got to a point where that I was wrong.
Yeah.
The cement hardened.
Pause. What were you laughing about?
Oh, man. All the jokes are easy. You were like, she tells me her opinion. And I was thinking, yeah, and then I correct her and give her opinion.
No,
I was just waiting for that again. I'm sorry, but you
leave
said
this
you
in the-
grew from it, and I was thinking, not physically.
Aw.
Oh, he's so short.
Okay, I am 5'8", guys.
And I'm 6'2".
Yeah, I know. Everybody's so tall in comparison to me.
Anyway, so
I'm 5'11".
I was editing that, and I was listening to you, and I was editing it, and I went, ooh.
No, and I listened to it, and it
And he went,
ooh. No, it was bad.
I mean, and a similar thing happened with me in
Then I listened to it and I went,
in the second podcast, and I had somebody bring it to my attention that we weren't necessarily wrong in what we were saying, or I mean, it was an opinion, so it wasn't really wrong, but we weren't looking at it from a different perspective as we should have been, and I wasn't thinking about who it might hurt or who it might affect, and we didn't have anybody who could weigh in who was a part of the culture we had talked about.
No, and that's
and that was us. That was me for the most part being wrong, and I apologize.
no, and you're absolutely correct. Like there are obviously, since we don't have the world here at this podcast, we're not going to have the world's perspective at this podcast. We only have our own.
Yeah, you're getting the opinions of 3, maybe 4 white guys. Well, white tan.
TDH.
No, and so I mean, there's a comedian. Have you ever heard of Owen Benjamin?
No.
He plays the piano, and he's a really, really intelligent guy. And he has.
I always thought he was a bit of a pianist.
He actually has a web. He's like 6'7" or something like that.
Damn.
And he has a website called hugepenis.com. No,
That's amazing.
no. And so,
I like this
no. And my favorite line that he always says, especially during his podcast, is like, "I might be wrong, but at least I'm not lying."
Yeah.
Like, I'm saying what I think and what I believe, but I might be wrong. Like, I'm not going to outwardly lie to you to have a specific narrative.
Yeah.
Or a specific, I'm just going to say what I think. And it's up to you guys to help.
Yeah, and I mean, and we're gonna say some cross things sometimes. We're gonna say some things that people don't agree with, but it's
It's America.
it's our responsibility to be at least semi-educated on what we talk about, but it's also the responsibility of anybody who's listening to not just sit idly by while people have ignorant thoughts or opinions. And if we say something that we don't 100% know, then help us out. Don't bring it up in a rude manner. Don't say that we're assholes because of it, but help us out and educate us a little bit.
Because we genuinely want to grow from this.
Yeah, we want to learn. This is why we're doing it. We want to learn from each other and from our viewers.
Yeah.
Comment below. I'll read it.
Yeah,
No,
we'll all read them. And
Well, yeah, if I think we should have like a hotline or something.
yeah.
That'd be kind of cool. Have like a
Hi.
dummy phone.
1-800. We have to sound like official, so it sends it to like.
Yeah, I know.
Hi, can I
But, like,
transfer you to our tech support?
Yeah.
What's like?
I was gonna make a tech support joke, but I'm
I was
not.
about to
You
too.
know.
No, I
Well,
think
see, what's funny is they're both tech support.
yeah, we're both tech support, but we're not talking about our jobs. No, and so
That was like beyond vaguely unspecific about what you guys do.
I know.
They work on copiers and printers.
I feel violated.
Good.
My
Fax it
life is
to
now
me.
on there.
This is a matter of national security.
Yeah, I know.
No,
They can
and
find
it's
us
just
out.
The National Weather Service has issued a
I
flash
feel like
flood.
as a group, if we're really really wrong, we'll mention it on the next podcast.
Yeah, and if we realize that there are errors in our ways or what we
Oh
talk
man,
about,
if we do have something that we're really wrong, when we actually do get to the point where we get to video it and stuff, I say we nail it to the table.
or knife it to the table.
Yes. Yes.
Oh no no, or have one of those wanted boards, like where it's visible.
It's got to be behind us, so that it'll
Yeah,
be
yeah,
visible
yeah.
in the camera shot.
Yeah, so it's
What we were
absolutely
wrong
visible,
about.
and then like wherever we're wrong, we nail it, and
Yeah.
we put the solution right next to it,
That's a
and
good
we
idea.
figure out what
I
we
like that.
And
I'll
so
shoot mine
that's-
with an arrow.
I like that.
no, and
We'll have one of us hold it.
Hold it
No.
still. Don't move
No.
your
Don't
hand.
move.
No.
Don't move. Quit moving. Why are you
flinched.
shaking? Why are you shaking right now?
yeah, Austin,
flinched.
Austin, you go stand in front of it, and I'll shoot it against the wall with a handgun.
See, you have awful.
I know.
You would
Why?
miss me. I'm not worried about that.
I have such bad aim with a handgun.
Yes, he does.
No,
Well, they're
it's,
harder to shoot, honestly.
Well, I mean, we're not gonna have to worry about Caleb shooting up school.
well, number one, I'm not. Number one, I'm under the age of 21, so I'm not gonna shoot up a school anyways.
Ooh.
I mean, you still could.
You are over the age of 21.
I'm not under.
Oh, okay. I was so confused.
No, I'm not under the age of 21.
Confucius.
I
that's
thought you were like, I'm
racist.
under the age of 21. I'm not gonna shoot up a school. And I was like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything?
Yeah. No. Yeah. No. Watch. Like the first thing we're wrong about is Bigfoot.
They're right.
Hey, if Bigfoot is real, please walk through this door right now. You have 5 seconds.
You would shit yourself if the fucking giant hairy ape just walked through the door. I would have lost it.
No.
So would he.
Uh,
He walks in. They're real.
They do exist. It does exist.
Fucking
M&M's
M&M's commercial. Oh man.
What is Santa like? I don't know. I've never met the guy.
He does exist. They do exist.
What time are we at?
We're at just at an hour.
Just on an hour?
Yeah.
Is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
I kind of want to talk about the, and I can talk about it next week, but or we won't.
We
Okay, we won't be here next week.
Beach
three of
week.
us will be on vacation. So this
How about we go a little long this week?
well, let's go a little long. Let's go long.
Okay,
Fuck it.
okay.
We are
Tune in this time to hear.
This podcast is gonna be posted on Saturday the 16th. That day, I'm leaving for the beach. Austin's leaving for the beach 2
One
days
day,
later.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then that Thursday, I'm also leaving for the beach.
Yeah, so we're gonna be gone all this week, so we're not gonna have, all next week, so we're not gonna be.
Jeremiah
able to-
doesn't have a beach.
Yeah, I'm not going to a beach because I just went to a beach and had to storm
Brag
it.
about
it.
And then like
Jeremiah had to
do,
storm the
like,
beach.
Technical like thing.
Normandy,
Get on
2018.
It was pretty fun. Like really sandy. Tents were awful.
Look at his sound wave. Look how much bigger it is than ours. Isn't that like
That's
he's
what she
overcompensating?
Anyways, yeah. So, it's pretty bad.
Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna be gone the week following the podcast's release. So we're not gonna have time to record anything. So we're gonna skip a week. We're gonna be gone, and we'll be coming back the Saturday that we would normally be posting. So we're gonna skip a week, and that way, the following week will hopefully be maybe not better quality, but it'll still be good.
Guys, you know what? This is our 1 month anniversary.
I'll miss you guys.
Oh my god!
Way to be gay about it. All right.
No, way to stereotype. Faggot.
I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Should I bleep that out? I don't
Nah.
know if I should.
Nah, that
Okay,
was good.
fuck it.
No, it's French.
Fagua.
That's my
Wait,
pronunciation's
are you
off.
are you bleeping out the F word?
No.
Well, then don't bleep out the other F word.
Family.
I hate that word. They left me.
Thought it was friends.
I thought it was.
No, it's from Deadpool.
Yeah, I know.
So I started a class for the summer. That's a critical thinking class.
Yeah.
And the book that we're reading, I read the first chapter, and it's my favorite book I've ever read.
Yeah.
It's called Asking the Right Questions, and the first chapter basically is a broad overview of what the book's going to be. And it really kind of opened my eyes to how I take in information and how I'm going to take in information in the future and respond to it. Because the book explains that a lot of the time people resort to what the book says is called fast thinking.
Yeah.
And that's when you hear something, you just immediately snap judgment.
Yeah.
You just absorb it.
Yeah.
And then in the chapter that I just read, it's something slow thinking, and that's absorbing the information, dwelling on it, and reflecting on how that information applies to you and how it should apply.
Yeah.
And it talks about how we should take in information, and there's two methods that they talk about called the sponge method and the panning for gold. Panning for gold, you can't do it without the sponge method. And the sponge method, basically, as a sponge, you absorb the information and you retain it. You hold it in. But that can't be used alone, because that method, you just hold the information, and it resorts to people just, believing what they last read.
Yeah.
And then the panning for gold is, you pan through what you have to find the gold in the gravel, the good things, the things that are true, that are actually true.
And then the fake news.
And then the fake news. Yeah. But
You are fake news. We need to get a soundboard with Donald Trump saying that.
But we also...
Antifa!
we...
Dun, 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 dun.
Antifa! But you can't have the panning for gold method without the sponge method, because you can't pan for gold if there's nothing in pan. Yeah. So you have to absorb the information in order to be able to sort through it and find what's good. And it's really kind of I feel like a lot of the times, most people, including me and you guys, like we do that fast thinking thing, and you hear information, you're like, oh shit, that's true, or oh shit, I'm gonna talk about that, I'm gonna spread that. But no, like a lot of times, especially now after reading that,
especially
it's
growing
gonna,
up, especially going through like high school and everything.
Yeah,
we're told to sit down, shut up, and listen.
Yeah,
like to every class is shut up, sit down, listen, retain what we're telling you, and that's one of the things that like I've just learned graduating. I haven't done any schooling afterwards.
Yeah.
I've done some trades and stuff like that, but I haven't done like any kind of book knowledge learning.
Yeah.
And and when that's one of the few and many things that I've myself like strived for. And that's why I really love this. It's like it finally gives me an outlet to really start shifting.
Yeah.
Because for the longest time I've been the only one that's been able to like retain the knowledge and figure out what's wrong with what I think is wrong, right? And being able to do that with you guys, I'm able to we're all able to shift the pan together. Yeah. No, that's really interesting. That's really interesting. I never thought about like that kind of a analogy.
Yeah, I love the book. It's amazing.
Okay, so that's your favorite book.
It's gonna shape my the way I take in information and that kind of thing. And
that's a good topic.
It's a good topic. What's your favorite book?
Yeah, what's your favorite book, short story, poem?
Oh,
something?
God bless.
Sentence.
So I have dyslexia.
That has nothing to do with what we're talking.
So he doesn't read.
No. I have a hard time reading.
He's just trying to put that out there and come up with an excuse.
Curious George was his favorite.
No,
green eggs and ham was bae.
No, one of my favorite
Red
books.
beans and ham.
No, one of my favorite books that I've read recently is 12 Rules of Life.
Okay.
which is a book written by Jordan Peterson, and I've read that book completely, and that's the way people describe it is it's that they think that it's like a book mainly meant for men, when in actuality it's stuff like don't lie.
Okay.
Like whatever you do, don't lie, because lying holds you back from telling the truth, and which not telling the truth is the worst thing that you can not do to that you could do to yourself, but to do to everybody else. And
What if they can't handle the truth?
a lot of people can.
That was a movie reference, but okay.
No, I know, but I got the movie
You were
right.
supposed to finish it. Ah.
All right, but but that's like my recent favorite book. I know I'd have to get back to you on this one.
Okay.
There are a few books that I have read that have been really, really eye-opening. I don't really read novels. I usually
don't either.
read articles. I read articles like nobody's business. Like stuff from the Huffington Post. I read stuff from Fox and stuff like that. I also read just in general everything, because like for the longest time I've just been a sponge.
Yeah.
I've just been trying to absorb all this knowledge that I wasn't able to really learn in high school, or I wasn't able to learn in anything else.
Yeah. And the saying, "Jack of all trades, master of none," is a very well-known saying, right? You've all heard that.
Yeah.
That's not the full saying. It's Jack of all trades, master of none. But not as not as good as a master of one. Or hold on, I'm gonna look it up. You guys keep talking.
Okay, I'll talk about mine then. My like all-time favorite is actually like a excerpt from I think it's from the Jungle Book, Kipling's Jungle Book. It's the actual bit that's like the law of the jungle. That's talking about how like the wolf that breaks the law must die, and like all this stuff. Like to me, that the way that like I read that and what I got from it is like the way that I kind of want to live my life, like by those rules.
Yeah.
And then the other thing would be, I think it's called I had to read it in English 111 my freshman year of college. It was an old Chinese thing. It was written kind of like a poem almost, but it was like a series of poem on what a leader should be, and they always referred to it as a master, because I don't think the translation came out correctly, perfect. But it was a very like detailed, like how a leader should act, how a leader should treat those that follow, and how a leader should be.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Do you read a lot of fiction?
I don't read a lot, but most of what I've read is fiction novels. Yeah.
Have you ever noticed how you find more truth in fiction books than you do in like
See, the ones I read are like fantasy.
But like even those, like I mean, even like the main subplot of like a lot of fiction books like have a deep underlying moral stance, and that's one thing I've gotten from reading fiction books, is that they're really even though they're not real whatsoever, usually the writer has their own sense of moral, their own sense of right and wrong, and being able to read somebody's written fiction book, you're able to really understand what they believe is what is right and wrong, and that's another interesting thing.
Yeah. There's a series that I read in high school, or I've only read the first book, called The Paladin Prophecy. It's like borderline fantastical, whimsy kind of thing. But it kind of starts out as this kid who is a jogger in high school, has like set records for his school, and is like really good at running. Like he never tires, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Come to find out that his dad works for this company, or like works for this place, who his dad is like hiding shit from his family, but the son knows it. And the dad like texts him one day while he's on a jog, and it's like, "Where are you at right now?" And he was like, on a jog, and he was like, "Run, keep running, and don't stop running," because lo and behold, a few minutes later, this black van is chasing him, and he ends up running from these people, parkouring and shit, and comes to find out that he's running, and then he hears stuff behind him, but there's nothing there, and it ends up being these like government, like aliens that are. It's weird, like listening to it. It's weird, but like if you read the book, you'd understand. But it's these these things that are chasing him, and then this guy just like comes out of nowhere, just forms out of nothing, and he's. I forget the term he used for him, but he's like some otherworldly being.
Yeah.
You don't know that until later in the book.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. But he's helping him. But it's a lot of discovering who you are and using what you are given in life to better yourself and give yourself more.
Yeah.
Is kind of the main thing behind the book. And he's discovering that he thinks that he's just a good runner. But it turns out he's so much more than that, and he starts to come to terms with the fact that he's different.
You're so much more than what you're so much more than what even yourself perceives.
Yeah.
He can run from it. He can hide from it.
Run from it.
No, that's really interesting.
Destiny finds us all.
No, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Do you have a book,
feel
Jeremiah?
so good, Mr.
Yeah, I do. It actually took me a little bit to find it because
Yeah.
I couldn't remember the title. It's called Ashfall.
Ooh, I love that book. Sorry.
It was really good.
I love
And
that
so
book. I read the second one. It's good.
yeah, I read the second
Ash
one.
and Winter, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, Ash and Winter is the second one.
So that's the second one.
Yeah, so it's just about Yellowstone and the volcano erupting there, and like I think the moral for me is just keeping your sanity through that whole thing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people just lost their minds and just did whatever they could to survive, but then there was those few that actually were able to keep their sanity and actually live like normal people would.
Yeah.
And so that's what I was like. That's what I really liked about it. But yeah, it's a really good book. I honestly, and I have dyslexia as well, so
No.
it was a little hard to get through it.
So
but
literally this room is 50-50 dyslexia.
5/10.
No, and so
I hate you. Oh, okay. So the full saying is, a jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one.
okay.
So it's saying I don't know if I agree with it. Galen and I had a conversation about it the other day, but it's saying that if you're good at a lot of things, it's better than being perfect at one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I get that.
I get that, but also where does skilled labor come into that? And it's like when you can't have somebody who's really good at everything be a doctor.
Yeah, no, I get that, but then again, what good is being a neurosurgeon when your car's broke on the side?
Yeah,
of the road?
and that's kind of the point that I took on it was, you can be perfect at one thing, but what if you suck at everything else? Like you're not gonna be able to change your tire, wash your cat, like whatever.
But I would imagine that some of the best neurosurgeons, back on that topic, are really good at a lot of other things.
Exactly.
And it's because they
kind of walk hand in hand with that.
with that mindset.
I mean, they have to be able to do things on the fly. Like if things get messed up, they
You gotta have steady hands,
unlike Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Well, he lost that. I mean, he had it.
Technically, he could do it again, but
So I found this thing because that's 31 famous quotations you've been getting wrong. Great minds think alike. This is actually the shortened version of great minds think alike, small minds rarely differ.
Oh, okay.
So
That's pretty deep.
do with that what you will. Why are you leaning on my shoulder?
I was just trying to read. Okay, we're doing a change.
Be the change you wish to see in the world. What he actually said was, this is a quote from Gandhi. Was
Mahatmas Gandhi.
what this is?
Okay, breaking the serious. That was great.
Be the change you
Mahatma
wish.
Gandhi.
Do you know the movie we're talking about? It's a movie called Fired Up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like Mahatma's King Gandhi. Anyway, it's supposedly Gandhi said, "Be the change you wish to see in the world." Which what he actually said was, "As a man changes his own nature, so does the attitude of the world changes toward him. We need not wait to see what others do." It's kind of touching on the bystander effect. Is if you see that other people are doing something, like helping somebody, you're like, "Oh, somebody else will do that."
Yeah.
Somebody else is going to help them. I don't
Yeah.
need to. Yeah. And that's kind of what he's saying, I guess. Curiosity killed the cat.
It was my uncle.
Curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back.
That's interesting.
That is interesting. Money is the root of all evil. This quote comes from 6:10 in 1 Timothy, and the full version is, "The love of money is a root of all sorts of evil." That didn't really say anything else.
I was gonna say that's about the same.
This article was like, it's pretty close adaptation, but adds to the definitiveness that the original is lacking. The Bible suggests that money is a cause of evil, but hardly the only one. So the Kardashians can rest a little easier tonight. Rome wasn't built in a day. It said Rome wasn't built in a day, but it burned in one.
Yeah, that is absolutely correct. I know, I mean, that's a really deep.
I was there. It was fun.
Wow.
Best toga party ever.
That's Greece.
Yeah, why do you think they burned it?
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
What are you talking about?
I don't know.
Okay.
Rome
Don't
attack
question
Greece.
it. Don't question
No.
it.
No. So
Greece just burned Rome.
Nathaniel,
It's not
I
that
asked these
complicated.
two last week. When have you ever seen the movie Gattaca?
No.
Okay, then never mind.
That's
That's like when I asked about Supernaturals. You guys ever seen Supernatural? You're like, nope, and I was like, never mind.
No. We should all watch that movie. It's a really good movie.
On the podcast.
No. No copyright strikes.
Okay.
that was a good pause.
I'm gonna leave that.
No. Let's see.
Another one. I think your non-roommate is here.
Yeah. Ooh, I hear footsteps. Fred?
That goes back to the last podcast. That's just weird.
We almost all of us except for me, almost just busted their ass. There's multiple people here. Outside in the apartment. There's multiple people
All
here.
I did was just stand
Not
up
just
just
her.
a little bit.
There's somebody else.
Did you lock it?
Maybe she's just crazy.
No.
She's having
Okay,
a
lock the damn door. Doesn't give
She's
me
having a
walk in.
multiple personality day.
started falling. I had to like.
No, you're fine. Why are you hitting me?
Party foul.
This
All right.
last like 5 minutes has just been nothing.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's the best part. Is like we don't have a script. We just go.
And we can cut this out until we find another topic.
We can. I don't care.
You got a topic you want to bring up, Jeremiah?
There's something you want to say to me, boy?
Slavery.
We are not getting on that topic. No,
Slavery is
this
just
one
a
has been
construct.
relatively non-political.
Slavery is a construct. Oh God.
We're all dragon energy.
Oh. How to Train Your Dragon 3.
Oh my
dude.
God.
Okay,
Well, we haven't
on
talked
that
about-
Solo. We
yeah.
haven't even talked about Solo.
Oh yeah,
yet.
we've all
Did y'all
seen
see
it
that?
now. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that. Nobody told me
Okay.
that.
We're a little behind the curve because of these two people.
We're really sorry.
Yeah, Jeremiah and Caleb didn't
It's
see
my bad.
it. It's their fault. We
It
haven't
is
talked about it
entirely.
Sooner.
No,
I mean,
officially,
and I saw it a week and a half after it came out.
officially it's a flop
Officially, yeah, in the box office, it's a flop.
because they had to film it twice.
Did they?
Yeah, they fired like the director, or the director left, and they pretty much reshot the movie, so they doubled their budget. It was like a $400 million budget movie.
And no, and then on top of that, they decided to air it after Infinity War and Deadpool 2.
Yeah, that was a bad decision.
That was
Yeah,
an
but-
incredibly bad decision.
Honestly, I forgot that it was a thing, and I was like, "Oh shit, that came out
No, I
yesterday."
didn't. Han Solo is my spirit animal.
I think like I go to the movies. I spend like $10. I mean, I'm not gonna like
I
go
know.
again. Like the next, like I try not to.
I
I mean, and on top of that, like I take out.
Cheap-ass.
It's really hard to take out like
Try to-
2 hours of my life
Try to
go
wait for it
see
to
a
hit that
movie.
$3 movie theater.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Woo.
Should we put in like timestamps for topics? Start to do that in our videos.
Oh, we could.
We could. I mean, we
Let's start
could,
that with number 5.
I mean, I can do it with this one.
Well, I was
although-
gonna say, but yeah, this one's kind of. We only talked about 3 things. So far.
Yeah.
I feel like the only time we should ever do a timestamp is when we're about to spoil a movie.
Yeah.
And that
Okay,
should
I
be
can
the
do
only
that.
one.
Yeah,
it's
that
like
makes
from
sense.
this point to this point. The rest of it, Screw you. You're gonna listen to the whole podcast if you want to figure it out.
Okay.
Love us or don't.
Love us or die.
But please do.
Okay, so
Follow me at Sir Bors.
Shut up! Every
Plugging.
goddamn time.
Okay, so what do you guys think of it?
Oh,
Han
dude.
Solo?
My gosh, I love
I know
it.
what you thought of it.
I really liked it too, honestly.
They don't.
Who's they?
Them.
They.
Them.
They.
the audience.
I'm
the
pointing
the
to you.
people.
The
You know-
chorus.
You. It's
The
you.
people.
The people hate this.
Motherfucker. That's not going to become a thing.
Oh, but it has.
It has a little bit.
I hate it. I hate it. I
Tom
love
Hardy.
it, but I hate it.
Tom Hardy was fantastic. I already did like twice.
X-Force. You already said X-Force.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right. Cool. X-Force.
Wait, you did?
Yeah, twice. I put it in every podcast. I try to sneak it in.
Why
so
did you
no one
say
knows.
that? I'm going to cut it out.
No, but you don't know where it is. You're gonna
No,
listen for the
he's gonna
entire
cut out
podcast.
the part where you put
I
it- where
insert
you
it.
said.
I try to insert it where like someone's kind of talking about something. And
Actually,
I
just
never
kinda
caught
lean
it.
closer
And
to
No,
the
no, no, no,
microphones.
no. Okay, so in-house game for those who listen. Try to find wherever Austin says and timestamp it
Yeah.
in the comments
In
below.
the comments, tell
Yeah.
us where Austin says
I
X-Force.
really hope it's like picking it up. It ought to. I'm pretty sure I've said it loud enough.
You
Close
haven't
enough.
said it loud. Oh, I haven't noticed when you were saying it.
Yeah, I know that's the
Probably
point.
because I was talking.
Yes, that's the point. I am a ninja.
I
No,
want to
no,
be ninja.
stop.
So yeah, you guys, you talk.
Okay,
Solo.
no, so what did I think about Solo? I thought it was really good.
Question mark.
No, because like I have reservations for making a movie about a character that was already really really young to begin with. When Solo first entered the scene, he was supposed to be like a mid-20s character,
Yeah.
and so like now they're making a trilogy out of it.
I'm so happy.
And I know you are, and I'm really excited about it too. I'm going to watch every single one of them. Like, are you kidding me? But at the same time, it's one of those things like,
They're just trying to pull in some money, you know what I mean?
yeah, it's like kind of reaching. But at the same time, I have to say that Solo and Rogue One are probably my two favorite movies
In the Star Wars franchise.
in the entire Star Wars franchise, and that's basically because, the first 4, 5, and 6 were fantastic.
Yeah.
We're just
They
we're
have
just-
their flaws. That
They have their flaws.
that everyone knows of.
Yeah.
Then 1, 2, and 3 were very much flawed.
Except
everyone
knows.
for
McGregor's
the
my
greatest character of all time, Jar Jar Binks.
So thanks, the movies was great, sir.
Well, Jar Jar's wrong.
Yeah, I know. I love Jar Jar Binks because he was so.
But I like
awful.
Ewan McGregor.
Yes, Ewan McGregor was fantastic.
No, and
great.
so
He
you
was
know
in
what?
Beauty and the Beast.
You know what?
Was it? I haven't seen it.
Solo
there.
movie, not Solo. You know what? A character movie that I would really like to see, Obi-Wan's.
Yeah.
From
I think they're
episode
setting
3,
it up.
from episode 3 to episode 4.
I think they've set it up with the introduction of spoiler alert Darth Maul and Solo.
Seriously, I that would be absolutely amazing.
I'm gonna talk about this real quick.
That one night that I texted him and I was like, Darth fucking Maul in the group chat, not realizing that you hadn't seen it yet, and you were like, thanks, and I was like,
No,
no,
he
no,
said
no.
stop. He said stop.
He said stop, and I was like, no, it's okay. And I was like, what you do is when you're talking to people that you don't know if they've seen a movie yet, is you throw one big something random at them and see if they get it. And if they were like, oh yeah, that was, and you're like, no, they didn't see the fucking movie. I was like, no. I was like, I literally explained that exact thing to you.
Yeah.
I was like, that's what I was doing, and you're like, okay.
And then I sent the YouTube link to a Beat Saber video where the dude's doing it Darth Maul style to try to like seal the deal.
Yeah, and I
On that
texted
one.
him, and I was like, bruh, and he goes, the fumble and that recovery, and we laughed so
And
hard.
he's like, you think he'll buy it? I said, right up until he watches the movie.
But yeah, Darth
No.
Maul.
Darth Maul. No, that was I'm so glad that they finally made that canon.
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
Well,
that
I
they,
mean, it was because the new cartoon series is technically canon.
No adult
Rebel.
besides you.
No, I
watches-
haven't watched it. I haven't watched a single episode.
No, me either.
I just know it is.
Well, that's dumb.
Okay.
No, I don't mean like you saying it's dumb. Just like
I meant more or less movie canon.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
okay, I meant more or less movie canon, and so I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, because Darth Maul is probably one of my favorite villains.
Yeah,
Besides
no, and
Stormtroopers.
so why do you? So do you agree with the fact that I think you do with the fact that Rogue One and Solo are probably the better?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I liked Rogue One a lot, but it's not one of my favorites. I mean, I'm not saying like it's bad. I loved it.
Obviously,
but
we're not saying any of the Star Wars
because they're all great, except for the second trilogy is okay.
1, 2, and 3 they sucked, but we still watched every minute of it.
Yeah,
So
multiple times. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to say that The Last Jedi was probably my favorite movie of the series. And then Solo is probably second.
Okay. Why do you think these two really knocked that out of the park?
Well, for starters, they went off the track of the mundane, repetitive that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
And then 7 and 8 followed suit with the exact same.
I mean,
like,
8 kind of shook it up a little.
That's why I liked it more.
Yeah, there was a twist in the middle of the movie that was pretty great, and then that scene where she goes through like hyperspace through the giant destroyer.
It was so aesthetically pleasing. It was so amazing.
Beautiful.
Because why hasn't this happened before?
Okay, the first time I watched that, it was just quiet, and the entire theater just silent.
Someone not to be named Caleb goes, "Oh
yeah!"
I also did
the
that.
The only people in the theater, it was dead silent.
And
they just went, "Oh."
No, it was me. It was 100% me.
Oh.
I was like, oh god.
Our entire group just looked at him.
I know, and I felt so bad, but no, I didn't.
It was probably the most visually stunning scene in cinematic history.
It was intense.
Oh yeah, no, it was absolutely amazing.
Because there was this huge like build up of sound and visuals, and then just
nothing.
Silence.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
No, so one of the big things that I think that why those two really knocked it out of the park is the fact that they have an end goal, right? When the books were, did you want to say something? No. So when the books were written, they were already written, so they were great anyways. 7 and 8, if I'm not mistaken, are just being thrown out of their own asses. Like they're just kind of like picking them up and like.
Well, so were the original trilogies. Those trilogies, the books come after the movies.
Yeah.
And the books usually aren't about the events of the movies; they're about characters featured in the movies.
Are you sure the original trilogy,
the original trilogy was just a movie.
Yeah, he totally made that up on the spot, and actually, it was like awful, or it was received really badly because he put the credits at the end of the movie. It was the first movie in like film history where credits weren't featured at the beginning of the movie because it had that reel.
Yeah.
You know. And so, like, it was horribly received. I think that's the reason Spielberg wouldn't direct, is because they wanted to go that direction. It was too, like, controversial.
Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford both said that they laughed at the idea.
Yeah.
They laughed when they were handed the script and were asked, like, what do you want to do with this? They read it and spread it around to their friends and laughed at it because they thought it was dumb, like space and sabers and blasters. Like, they thought it was weird.
Yeah.
But it's, one of the top grossing movies in history, like series
in history. And then it became a norm shortly thereafter.
Yeah, exactly. And now it's such a huge, like, everybody knows what Star Wars is. Yeah. Maybe not everybody has seen it, but everybody knows what Star Wars is. It's a household thing now.
And the people that piss me off are the ones that are like, yeah, that Star Trek, Star Wars thingy.
Yeah, my mom never watched a single one. Yeah. I hate it.
I love the new Star Trek.
Oh, she's seen the new ones because I made her go see them.
Yeah, no. So,
I've seen.
One of the big reasons why I like Solo and
the storyline was great.
The storyline was great, and it's like for Rogue One. The reason I love Rogue One is because they had a beginning and they had an end, and
every movie is finished.
Even though you knew what was going to happen,
I knew exactly what was going to happen, and I think that's why I loved it so much. Yeah. It's because they focused on point A to point B,
and it didn't have a happy ending. I mean, there was kind of like a happy moment there.
Well, like all the other movies focus on getting you to point B. This one really focused on
what happens between.
Yeah, like they always leave those like little tidbits to get you to point B. They didn't leave any tidbits to get you to point B. You knew what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like there was no forecasting because you already know what the forecasting was, and that's why even if you've never seen any of the Star Wars and you were
chance of death.
Yeah, and you were dropped into that movie,
yeah.
You would have been shell shocked by the ending. You would have really felt something about it, and that's why I just loved it. And I think that's what I'm gonna really like about Solo is because you have a point A, and you also know how point B is going to end.
Yeah.
And so how they're going to translate that I'm really excited about.
One thing I was surprised about with Solo is I feel like even though there was a well-developed character already made, they did like a fantastic job of developing the character in that movie.
Fleshing out even more.
Yeah, like there's the whole controversy of like who shot first, Han and Greedo in the first original Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
And I feel like that scene where they're standing on the cliff, and Solo and was it Tobias Beckett?
Yeah.
And Han shoots him.
Without even thinking.
Yeah, and like I feel like to me that was like a very set in moment because there's always like Han didn't shoot first, but Han shot first, and it's like Han shot first because he knew how to read the situation.
Yeah, he
and
knew where it was
Tobias
going, so
even
put it
said
into
that's
it.
the smartest thing you ever did. I was about to kill you.
He said, "I would have killed you, kid."
Yeah.
Or something. He would have shot you, or something like that.
Yeah.
And
I
never
I
thought
love
about
moment.
that. No,
love that moment.
I
That
honestly,
was like an immediate. To
no,
me.
dude, I never thought about that, but that is really interesting.
And so like I feel like they took a character that was already like there and then showed how to they developed him into that, and I thought it was great, and I'm looking forward to the next movies.
Yeah, no, and I really like how they
cancel it now.
no, and I really like how they didn't have like a like a life or death situation between him and Chewbacca. It was more like this small thing happened, so then they stayed together, and this other small thing happened, so they decided to stay together a little bit more. And Chewie's
And then,
Chewie had
they
every
they build a
keep
relationship.
renewing their relationship kind
like
of.
Chewie
Yeah.
has every opportunity to just leave him and go with his people.
Yeah, and then he decides, he needs my help. I'm going to help him.
He finds more purpose. And
He's
I feel
helped
like,
me. I'm going to help him.
because in the original 4, 5, and 6, if maybe my mindset was, or maybe there's a line or something I'm forgetting, where like you hear that Chewie has a life debt to Han.
No, I think that's like in the Legends
Yeah.
thing because I don't think they ever talk about it. It just kind of seemed like Han had this really cool pet that was beyond super loyal.
Yeah.
And that could rip the arms off people.
Oh yeah.
That scene was great.
Great.
he just pulls
No,
the
and
arms
so-
up, and everybody was like,
That uniform would have been perfect for me.
that was
That was my size.
The banter between Han and just every character in that movie just really solidified what that character was.
Yes.
And the smart mouth rogue that he is.
So how do you think his girlfriend's going to become?
Dead.
Yeah.
No, I mean because I feel like there's some foreshadowing on what her character is.
I don't know because I don't really know like that. I don't know all that much detail about it. But I mean, obviously something bad has to happen because we never see her face.
Yeah. I think I really like the going back a little bit. I think I really like just how they decided to make Chewie and Han. Just able to just make a true friendship instead of some loyal servant kind of thing.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah, it's more of like a out of bond rather than debt.
Out of creed, yeah.
Yeah, I liked it because like it showed you all the stuff that they always talked about, like how the world was chaos.
And
then
Made
kind of
right,
visually
run
see it.
in
Yeah.
12
Instead of
parsecs.
sex. Oh,
Yeah.
that was great.
And then the banter there where like Chewie makes a noise and goes, "Well, if you round down, it's 12."
and
And then he just kind of shrugs. And like,
Yeah.
And in the relationship they ended up making between him and I can't remember the captain's name. The other set of bandits.
did they? I just had a realization. They totally fixed that whole paradigm
What?
because a parsec is distance, not time.
Paradox.
And no, but there was a whole like
Paradigm
in
is
the
a,
original.
is a way of thinking.
Okay, I'm sorry, fine, paradox.
Sorry. It's just a
No, in the original trilogy, it was all like they made fun of it because he said parsecs, as in like it was an increment of time.
yeah.
No, but they fixed it in this movie
Yeah.
because it's distance, and they did the run in
12
a shorter
parsecs.
distance.
Yeah. It makes sense now.
Ah, they fixed the movie.
Wow.
What is the bandit that tries to the bandit and the group
Instant Nest, something like that.
something
Or it's the little
nest.
girl.
Yeah, instant nest. That's what it is. Yeah, and they're like how they kind of switch the rogue from being this group of bandits and pirates who is feuding with him
ends up being the start of the rebellion.
Yeah.
That I was like, whoa,
Yeah, I thought
like that.
I thought that was a pretty awesome twist. That
Yeah, that was really cool.
That like the rebellion that he becomes a general in, like he's the one who gave them the fuel to start.
Yeah, exactly.
And then on top of that, like how he has mentioned many times where he's been offered to join the rebellion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's always turned them down, and like
Yeah.
that was the first time he was
Yeah.
offered to join the rebellion.
Can we talk about how that captain's head or the pirate's headdress looks like a captain from
Fallen?
Destiny?
Yeah,
fallen captain from Destiny.
Very much so.
Yeah. The first time I saw it, I was like, that's a captain from Destiny.
Same. I was like, where's the other arms?
Yeah, I mean that.
Maybe
I
there's a-
didn't expect it to be a girl.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know
I
why. I
didn't
just I was like pirate, mean person, man.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Well, it was like
Well,
it was
and
young
she had that
kid.
voice
I mean, it was
modulator,
more
so
like
whenever she spoke, it sounded like a manly gurgle.
Yeah, kind of.
It was a voice, and like her fighting style was very
It was very.
masculine.
Yeah.
And not to say that there aren't.
It was really brutish.
Yeah,
it wasn't
yeah,
like
maybe
finessed
that's the
and,
word.
It wasn't finessed and agile
Like
you would assume like a
Han's
woman
girlfriend.
assassin would be.
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
that
Like
she was
her
doing all
fighting
those
style.
flips
It was
and stuff.
very brutish and moving, like and pushing the body into somebody instead of pushing the body around somebody.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. No, and maybe that's the word I was looking for. More brutish instead
Yeah.
of masculine.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but so it was able. Gotta correct it. No,
We're running 139.
139. You're gonna have fun.
Okay,
editing this one.
last one. How to Train Your Dragon 3. I'm pumped.
Yeah, me too.
I'm super psyched.
Yeah, we're all over the age of 20. Super psyched about.
Dude, I don't care. That is my all-time favorite movie.
No, like
I feel like the third one's gonna be really similar to the second one though.
No, I don't, because I think it's gonna have to. I have had so much time to speculate about how this movie will go.
I know you have all this
public
free
service
time that you,
announcement.
like-
Austin really loves How to Train a Dragon.
Yes, I do.
They're great movies.
Everyone
No,
knows.
they're
everyone I know
absolutely
knows this.
fantastic.
I cried at the second one.
Oh yeah, no, I think we all.
Oh.
I still want a Viking funeral when I die, guys. That's on you. Okay.
Okay, no,
We're just
we
gonna
got
set
you.
your house on fire.
Every time they make a new Robin Hood movie, they burn our village.
The original fourth wall break.
Oh. Mel Brooks is a comic
No, so-
genius.
So,
Ooh, the Light Fury.
Right?
Yes.
oh,
It teleports, dude. How OP is that?
Yeah, it like just breathes fire and just leaves.
yeah,
Wish I
because
could do
it
that.
uses its fire breath to actually tell. So, hey, there's so much stuff.
I know.
There's so much stuff. Like, does it actually teleport, or does it just?
I'm gonna be
leaves
sensory
through light.
overloaded watching this.
Yeah, I mean, he just brought up a good point.
Ooh, yeah.
Because the Night Fury flies at night, and so it's able to use the night to stay hidden.
Yeah.
Does the Light
Does it
Fury
like refract? Does it like
yes
refract the light?
use its own fire breath to able to just disappear?
No,
Yeah,
I
that's a good
don't
point.
know. I mean, maybe. Well, we shall
I mean,
see.
they're still like they can still see them.
Well, okay.
No, but there's a
hold
scene.
on, hold on. No. Yeah, I think it is teleportation.
'Cause he
Because they
tells
talk
them to
about the
save them.
lost world. It's a different place. It's a completely different
No,
route.
but I was talking about the scene where he's like holding on to the Light Fury. And he says, "Save him," and then she breathes fire, and the next thing you know, she's got Toothless, and like he's knocked out, falling down, and she grabs him and flies off with him.
So
Like,
does that mean that?
I
to
don't
me-
know if it was the same scene though.
It
could
may
just
not
be
have
cutting
been.
in the trailer.
Yeah, I know. That's.
See, like
You have to
exactly.
sit forward because I'm having to turn around and talk to
I'm
you.
sorry. It's just very crowded.
That's why I'm leaning back a little bit. I'm a little louder than you, so I can do that.
Yeah. I won't stand up again.
Yeah, you almost made me die.
That was funny.
Ugh. Just dragons are my shit, dude.
Right?
Since I was little, I think mostly because of Spyro games. I'm just like I love dragons.
Mine's pirates. Pirates. I
Yeah.
love pirates.
Why don't you marry one?
I think I will.
Is Kaylin a pirate?
No, not even.
Not even.
We'll have to make her a pirate.
Listen,
Honorary pirate.
you gotta get a peg leg. I'm sorry, but
You get eye patches for pirates weren't to cover up scars.
yes, I saw that episode of MythBusters 10 years ago.
What?
They did it on MythBusters.
Wait, what?
What are you talking about?
The eye patches, it was used to like makeshift night vision. Because
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the bottom
yeah.
of ships weren't very well lit, so they'd cover one eye. They'd walk into a dark place, switch the eye patch, and they would be able to see very well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they would keep it on there until they would come back down.
Yeah, you didn't
to
know
the
they
next
tested that on MythBusters?
I didn't know they did it.
I don't
How could they test that for
They had
Mythbusters?
they had a
Are they testing
darkened warehouse.
They testing whether it actually worked.
Yes,
Okay.
they had a completely dark warehouse. The control was they went through like straight from the light, walked in, and like there was obstacles, pop-up targets they had to hit. Like people would throw sandbags at them, and they'd swing and knock them. Did terrible both times, both Adam and Jamie like that.
Oh,
but then
yeah.
they had the eye patch on for like a couple hours or something. Walked in, switched eyes, and like they nailed it. Didn't get hit once,
Yeah.
got every target.
Oh, yeah.
It was
Makes sense.
It was pretty cool.
It makes sense because I mean, when you have you know,
You're adjusted to the darkness. Yeah.
and it's like, especially sometimes
Born in
like
the darkness, molded by it.
molded by it.
The people.
By the time I saw the
It's a
light,
different
I was
part
already
of the
a
movie.
man.
Okay.
But it's the people.
No.
You, the people.
Why do you always condescend me?
Because
Why
you're
you?
always wrong.
Why are you?
Some people think I'm condescending. It means talk down to people.
Just because I'm shorter than you doesn't mean you're always talking down to me. Come on.
This is great.
What?
No, I know
You get the joke?
Yeah, I know what you were
Did you get the
thinking.
joke?
Oh, I got the joke.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
It's
got
like
the
it wasn't a
joke.
short joke.
No, I know. But
Okay.
I always.
Thank you.
but he took
Like,
it to
You,
a short
took
joke,
it as a
and
short
was
joke, and you
fantastic.
said it as a short joke, so I was like, what?
I'm beating you to the punch because it's going to end up that way.
I wasn't
gonna
gonna make it
something.
that
I wasn't gonna say something.
I
You
wasn't
usually
either.
do. Yeah, everybody. Okay, now the one time that nobody wants to make a joke,
I
I'm
normally
the one
don't.
that makes it.
Oh, we have to tell the story about my roommate Jordan. The one joke that killed all of us except for you.
No,
One of the first times
no.
Caleb, the first time Caleb was at my apartment,
And meets all the
and
roommates.
meets my roommates that I live with. We were all sitting out in the living room just talking one night,
Except for Caleb, who's standing in
and
the door.
Caleb is standing in the hallway towards two of the rooms, and he's standing there leaning against the wall talking about something.
And of course, this is the part of the conversation where I decided to take over, and I decided to
It
have
was a
my.
pretty in-depth conversation too. Like
Yeah,
there was some actual meaning behind it. I don't remember what.
It was something about gun control, I'm pretty sure.
Maybe.
It's something about that.
Yeah.
And like it was just part of my spiel.
Yeah.
And one of your asshole little
The redhead named Jordan goes, hey, hang on,
Hey.
Caleb, can you stand up?
And he was already standing, and he goes, "Can you stand up real quick?" And we lost it.
yeah.
and I lost it. I mean, I knew the joke. I got
no,
it.
it's just everyone. It
We-
was so
we
random,
died.
uncalled for.
It was so funny.
It was really rude.
It was fantastic.
It was really rude.
He was hurt.
It stung. It really
Are
did.
we gonna wrap this up here now?
Yeah, we can wrap it up.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like we've given enough content for those that aren't going to be happy for 1 week and
Yeah, I was gonna say
can
because
suck it.
You can just split it into a few parts. Let's do it throughout 2 weeks. So.
Yeah.
remember there shall not be a podcast the week following this
The
one.
week following
The fortnight.
June 16th.
It's a fortnight from now,
It's a fortnight.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 2
Way to
weeks.
use it correctly.
Fucking hate that game.
right? They didn't
Anyway.
even spell it right. No, maybe they did. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't care.
Anyway, thank you guys for listening so much. We have been Knights of the Wrong Table.
Yep. Yeet! Play the music out. We don't have music.
We don't have music.
But play it anyways.
Bye.